I am Lanikia, and you are watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the Young and the Restless edition. All right, guys, today is Friday. Yay! September the 8th, 2023. On a scale of 1 to 10, I am going to give this one. It was like a 6.5. It was solid for a Friday. Let's just jump right into it. We're going to start off with Heather and Sharon. They're talking strategy. They said, we need to go in prepared for a fight, a battle with Victor because we don't know what he will decide on in the end. And so that's exactly what they're doing. They're going in prepared, and Nick shows up, and y'all know Mila's right here. Okay. So Nick shows up, and when he does come through, Heather's like, well, considering he is now, who he is, we might not want to talk too much. He said, no, no, no. Whatever you have planned, don't worry about me telling because I would help you in any way I can to make sure she gets her company back. And they was like that, and they were like, that's good to know. So Sharon and Nick continue to talk, and Heather gives them time alone to actually do that. And so she mentions to him about Adam and how Adam is ready to make amends. She doesn't know if he's sincere or not, but she hopes he is. But she's starting to lose faith in him on on his ability to change because he does this. He screws up, and then he comes back with his tail tucked between his legs, talking about he messed up, he wants to change. And so at this point it's getting to be that they don't she doesn't even trust him anymore. Of course, Nick is all for that. Yeah, don't trust him. I don't know. Nick kind of got on my nerves this episode. It was like never ending Adam bad. Like when you see Nick now, that's all it is. It's just constantly him bashing Adam. Like that's his whole storyline now. And it's starting to become worrisome. And I like Nick. I like the character of Nick. But anyway, so they end up leaving, and Sharon goes over to meet with Victor, and he tells her, "I'm not gonna hold you long." He tells her, "You can have your company back, girl." And so she was like, Heather was like, "Well, I'm glad we were able to work this out, so I'm gonna go ahead and go." So when she leaves, Victor's and Sharon talk, and she tells him, I feel like Adam is trying to make amends. He's lost a lot, and now he realized he's lost his family and the being in the family business, and he's seeing it differently now. And so I don't know what Victor is gonna do, but who knows. So moving on from that, we see that Sally is actually with Adam. She runs into him, and she goes up and speaks to him, right? And I said, see, girl, this is what gets you gonna get you in trouble with Nick, because you won't leave Adam alone. You could have said hello and kept it going, but you keep coming over to this man. And so he tells her, he lost it all, and he's just in a state of he was in a state of woe is me, but with the I need to make a change because if I keep going down this path, this is my life, and I can't blame anyone about my life but myself. And she says she hopes he sincerely wants to change, and everything. He says, he suffered so many losses this year that the only thing he can it made him realize, what are you doing with your life? What do you want to do with your life? And he says right now he doesn't know, but he hopes to find out, and that he would he hopes to find out what he exactly can do with his life. And she said Sally tells him to reach out to Nick, and he says Nick doesn't want to hear from me. Same thing Sharon told him to reach out, but then they both also agree that no, Nick probably wouldn't want to hear from you. So Adam is talking with Sally, and then Nick shows up, and of course, if Nick wasn't going to be on the defense, he automatically is just seeing Sharon, not Sharon, but Sally talking with him, because Nick is a little insecure. Like we've talked about this, we've said this. He's a little insecure when it comes to Adam. He knows. So when he sees him with Sally, of course, that doesn't help it. But he tells him, stop having people, go to battle for you or defend you, and that's a cowardly thing to do. And he said, if I came to you myself, would you have talked to me? And Nick admits, no, he would not have. So Adam is trying to explain himself to Nick, And of course, Nick is giving him the cold shoulder, but Sally tells him just listen to him, hear him out and everything. So he does. And Adam says, just thank you for listening to me. Because he's all he doing is telling Nick, I want to make a change. I want to be a part of the family. I don't know right now what I want. I can't give you that answer, but I just know I need to work on me. And so after he leaves, Nick was like, "Do you believe him?" And Sally says, "Do I believe people can change? Yes." And he says, "I hate to say this, but I think Adam would even use the depth of his child to get what he wants right now." So Nick is not buying it at all. He's not buying it at all. But anyways, Sally says, "All right, enough about that. Let's talk about you and what you're going to do. Are you going to take the job at Newman Media?" And Nick says he doesn't know. That job is more of an obligation, not something that he actually wants to do. And he says he really doesn't want to work with Nate and Victoria. And so because of that, you know, Sally, when she was trying to make a decision about working for Newman and all this kind of stuff, she didn't really want too much input. Now she ran to Adam for his input, but she was just like, I need to make this decision or whatever. But she's really trying to persuade Nick in his decision about not working for them or whatever. So then Sharon has had her meeting because they're at Crimson Lights now. Sharon, or maybe they were at Society. I don't remember. But anyways, Sharon has had her meeting with Victor, and Mila, and she gives the good news to Nick that Victor gave her company back and everything. And she tells him, "Why don't you come work for me? Make it the company we always wanted to." And then Sally looking, I said, "Well, you didn't want him to work for Newman. Let him work for Sharon." Baby, if this is a way for y'all to get them back together, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we will see. We will see how it all goes down. So then we go over here and we see Adam has made it home, and he says, um Adam is being Adam. He's just like, yeah, right. Like, y'all will ever show me any kindness or forgiveness or anything. So Adam is playing them. Exactly what Nick thought he was doing. And then he gets a knock at the door, and it is Victor. So we will see what happens with that. And then the next thing we see is Kyle, Diane, and Jack. Now they've called him over because they wanted to discuss with him, the path he is headed down. They spoke to Abby, and Kyle said, "Listen, I'm a grown man. I can do what I want to do, and I don't need my mommy and daddy's permission. You could tell me your concerns about my life, but that's it. Like, I've listened to you, and I'm not going to continue to go back and forth with you about what I should do with my life. Now, if you can't respect that, me and Harrison can leave." And they said, Diane was like, "I can't believe you threatened to take your child away from us." He said, "I'm not threatening that. What I'm telling you is if you can't respect my decisions that I make with my life as a grown adult man, then I'm not going to be here so that I have to listen to this all the time because I stay here every time I come in and y'all summon me to the house to give it to actually they are treating him like he a teenager." He said, "And mind you, Audrey and I broke up, and they said it was that your idea or hers." And he said that we broke up, but it has nothing to do with me wanting to get back with Summer. That ship has sailed. I don't want her anymore. He said, "I've been free and I'm loving my life." I said, "Yes, he is. He loving him some Audrey and all this freedom he feels it brings. Hold on. And all this freedom that he feels it brings to them. He is loving every minute of it." So he's just like, "No, I'm not gonna give that up." Remember back in your day, Jack, I'm acting like you and all that. And Jack and Diane both tell him that's a lonely life. You might think you're having fun, but at the end of the day, the destruction you leave and all that is a lonely life. He said, "Well, it's my life to live, and I'm gonna live it the way I want to." Then they got on the subject of Billy and all that. When they talked about his job, and they said, "You will take a lower position in Newman Media, but you won't come and work for your family." And he said, "You kicked me out the company." So they start talking about Billy and how Billy could be waging war. And Kyle said, "Fire him, and then I'll think about coming back to my CEO position." I don't know. It was just about something the way he said that made me sick. It disgusted me. But y'all tell me what you think in the comments. But I said this is exactly what Billy was talking about. Because after Kyle says all this and he says he leaves, because he's like, you know, you could trust me, Dad. So if you brought me back, yeah, I'd be the CEO or whatever. Then he leaves. And then we see Diane tell Jack, I know I might not be right for influencing your decision, but I would love for you to bring Kyle back because I feel like we're slipping away and losing our son. He says, if I fire Billy, I'll lose my brother. So Jack is in a tough position. Kyle is the one who stepped down from being the co-CEO because he wanted to be over Marchetti, and then he the one that couldn't forgive Summer. But now I don't know. This is exactly what Billy was talking about. So I'm not mad at Billy for wanting to keep in provisions. And I know some people are like, well, he didn't have to have a provision, because he's an abbot. What are y'all talking about? Oh my gosh, if you're an outsider, you do need to have a provision to protect your company, to sit on the board and everything. I'm not mad at that. So I don't know how this is all going to turn out, but we shall see. We shall see. And that's all I got for you. It is the weekend. Be safe, be blessed, and I will see you Monday for an all new episode of What Happened on the Soaps, the Young and the Restless edition. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.